Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am here with my beautiful friend Shay. Shay, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here with me, Shay. So, Shay has been journeying with me for a few years now, and she has become such a powerful healer and guide. And I am just so excited to have this conversation with you, Shay, to show others what is possible on their journey. So, Shay, I would love to hear a little bit about your background and about how you found me.
So I have done a lot of different modalities. Most of them were energy based. And I had just come back from a retreat in Mexico and was still seeking. And my son said, "Hey, there's a book you should read by this woman called Erin Werley. I create." So I bought the book and I was like, "Oh, this is it. I don't know what it is, but this is it." And so that began my journey into light healing. So I did QLA Live, and then I did Called with You, which transformed my life. And I can't even say that without so much excitement in me. It just, I came to you with so much physical and emotional pain, and you witnessing that for me and challenging me, which, I'd get off a call with you and I'd be so triggered. And I'm like, well, okay, I need to address something here. And I really appreciated that support, um, not backing away from saying the hard things. And one session you told me, "I think your physical pain is coming from your ancestors dumping all of their stuff into you because you are the one strong enough to transmute it." And you put a lid on it and it got better. And then it started coming back again. And I'm like, this is my journey. This is what I need to do. And so I'm like having chats with them like, we can't be doing this. It's taking a toll on me. And so what I did, knowing they were transmuting this through me, is gave them another place to transmute it. And ironically called it the transmutation station. And so it's manned by other ancestral healers, but I didn't want to abandon them from having a way to transmute their pain and trauma. So I did that. And that kind of opened the gates to working with them. And one of the best things is they don't just give us their trauma, they give us their strength, their perseverance, their persistence, their intelligence, their kindness. And those are the things that I try to bring through as well.
I love that so much, Shay. You know, the called mastermind that you did with me, that was such a special space. And how I witnessed you opening and expanding into your own soul gifts was, it's just incredible. It's incredible to walk with someone as they, like you said, it's not an easy path to do the kind of healing that you and I have chosen to do in this lifetime, that our souls are here to do, both for ourselves and for all those that are called to journey with us. But there's nothing more satisfying than it, even though it's not the quote unquote easiest path. It's so fulfilling, isn't it? To feel yourself
It is.
expanding in that way.
I always had the hope, and in me was that kernel of trust. And I'd say in the last 2 years, that's just expanded exponentially. I trust that whatever happens to me is for me. And I see everything around me with that lens now. So, you stub your toe and you're like, what are you telling me?
Mhm.
What do I need to see here? And it's just changed the way I live day to day.
Yeah, I'm so happy to hear that. And that reminds me of earlier on in my journey when I was hoping something like this was available, that kind of level of trust in your journey and trusting that everything was really happening for you, but I didn't know how to get there. right? And
Mhm.
I found a powerful healer to walk with that I walked with for many years. And then I became the person who could hold space for other powerful people that were looking to go on a deep inner journey. And then I held space for you. And you then
Mhm.
started to really embody your power and become a powerful space to hold others on their journey. And it's this beautiful ripple effect. So, for everyone who's watching right now, what would you tell them about trusting when you are led to journey with someone like you or me?
Um, it really, you do have to go in deep and trust. And I was lucky enough to find you as a guide. And what I want to be is that fierce, supportive guide. I'm going to Iceland by myself next year to go hiking. I've been hiking a lot, but I've never been to Iceland. And so I hired a professional guide because I don't know the terrain. I can't navigate around the block at my own house, but I trust them to get me through the terrain. They've been there before and they're not going to carry me.
Yeah.
I have to walk my own journey. And
Mhm.
that's what I want to be for the clients I'm working with, is this
Oh, I love
guide
that.
that says, I've got you. I've been there. I know the terrain. It is hard and challenging, and the views are beautiful. It's just amazing what you ultimately see when you take the journey, and you have to trust that you can do it. And it's really helpful sometimes when you are at the lowest to have somebody like you who said, you can do this. You're not crazy. I think you told me that again this week. You're not crazy. Because sometimes the stuff, when you're in full trust and you're thinking, oh, is this crazy? But if you follow your guidance, it's not. It's beautiful. I'm living a life of joy that I had never thought I could do.
Yeah.
And by doing the ancestral and generational healing, my kids are living better lives. My
Mm.
husband is living a better life. Everybody around me is living a better life. And I remember as a young mother, I'm like, this shit stops with me. This trauma that has, followed my family for centuries, lifetimes, it stops with me. And somehow I knew that was true. I just didn't know how to
Mhm.
do it. And I'm doing it. It's
I know
amazing.
it's so beautiful. It is so beautiful when you do this work for yourself, the ripple into the people around you. So I would love to touch on this, Shay, because you are so deeply sure of who you are as a guide. And that's incredible. And that is so rare in today's world. And I see it because you have consistently followed your inner guidance, your intuitive knowing. And I would love to hear a little bit about what that journey has been like for you of finding that certainty in this is who I am and what I'm here to do.
I think it does go back to being a mother. That's when it really awakened in me because I was not willing to do it for myself initially because I was just a scared little kid who was funny and um, I was bullied, not unlike you, but my technique was if I can get them laughing, they won't punch me. So I grew to be very funny. And with my kids, I realized things need to be different, and I'm not their friend. I am their mother. And that's where the guide part of me started to build is I fiercely love you and I will, hold you accountable for what you need to be held accountable for. And you did that for me. You didn't let me, cry and whine and well, you did let me do it, but then you're like, okay, now what are we going to do about it?
I
So
held space for
that's
that, and then I said, now we still
you
have to
did.
handle it.
And I was reading through my journals the other day and I'm like, oh, thank you, Erin, for holding me through that because wow. a lot,
Oh,
a
you just,
lot
but the
has,
thing is, like, you did it. You know, I held the space for
I
it. I
did.
gave you the tools and showed you the path, but you made the choices to continue to walk forward on the path. And that's a big deal. That's a big deal. Because,
And you
like you
were the
said,
mirror that showed me what I needed to see to take the aligned action. All of a sudden, I started connecting, this is happening. What's the aligned action? This is happening. What's the aligned act? Oh, I took this action. Now I get a lesson. Okay, well, that's okay. Keep moving forward. And a big thing for me was forgiving myself and giving love to past versions of myself. And I pretty much do that every day. The voices in my head are very kind now. They're like, you're beautiful, you're amazing, you can do hard things. And I mean, that's a switch in the last 5 years that, and I'm that voice for my kids. I'm that voice for my grandkids. You know, they'll be crying about something. I'm like, you can do hard things. And they're like, oh yeah, I can. I mean, they're just so young, they just get it.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, that's
yeah. Oh,
kind
Shay,
of
I love
all
it
of
so
it.
much. I love it so much.
I
And I
love you
love it
too. I
because,
don't want to get all teary.
I love it so much because you're not just speaking empty words. You're deeply embodied in the words that you're speaking. And that again is so rare. We have so few embodied souls here on earth. And it's not about perfect embodiment. I'm not perfectly embodied in everything. And that's not what it's about, but it's about you've walked the path that you're speaking of. You have walked yourself through the obstacles on the path. You know now that you have the ability to walk yourself through any obstacle. And you know, so does whoever it is that's led to you as their fierce guide. It's like this embodiment piece
Yes.
is what most teachers are missing. They're teaching things that they don't fully believe yet themselves. And that's why it's so powerful for us to have this conversation because as every word that you speak, I feel your embodiment in. But let's let's talk about your ancestral healing gifts and let's talk about how even though it's so obvious now, like what there was a time on your journey when it was like and it was before the transmutation station, which I remember that and called, and I was like, this is the best thing ever. This is so incredible. And this is so often when people are really going into their deep intuitive gifts when they're journeying with me, they will say to me, this is what happened in my inner world. Am I crazy? Like, I know this really happened. I know I'm not really crazy, but am I
Mhm.
crazy? And talk to me a little bit about how it was having me hold you through that sort of thing around your gifts.
So I'm an accountant by trade. I mean, debits, credits, good, bad, profit, loss. So coming into this, I was like, this is kind of some spooky stuff, and I'm in quantum fields doing things like, oh my gosh. And I would say, Erin, this happened in a field, and you're like, trust it. Okay. And I just built on you saying, trust it, follow your guidance, follow your guidance. And then the days that it was really bad, I mean, I had a dark night of the soul where, it was a month of sweating through my sheets every night. And it was everything leaving me that needed to leave me. And you were there saying, it's okay. It's not all rainbows and butterflies, and healing is hard, and you're doing it. You can do hard things, and just embodying that. And I know that you have codes that you open in me, just like I have codes that I'm opening in others. And it's hard to put into words what you did for me because it's embodied in me now. And I'm hoping I can carry that forward.
I know that you can. I know that you can. In some
I
ways,
know that I can too.
it's yes. In some ways, I think it's a belief in our divinity, not just ours, but
Yes.
yours, right? It's seeing each other as that spark of light or as divinity in form, because that's the part of us that can do the hard things. That's the part of us that can do anything in our souls. And the more that we remember that that's what we are. But anyway, thank you for sharing that. All right, so I would love to talk, Shea, about Red Hawk Light Healing. I'm so excited to have you share with me more about this calling that you have to help others.
So it's called Red Hawk Light Healing because hawks are just renowned for their vision. They fly high above things and see things. And I live by the Mississippi River and I see hawks all the time, especially when I am asking for guidance, like one will appear. And one day, I was making one of the hardest decisions in my life and a juvenile hawk showed up outside the office of my window and sat there for 4 hours. Just like, I got you, I see you, you can do this. And that was when things really started to crack open for me. And so now I'm working one-on-one with clients, and you can book a session with me at my website, redhawklighthealing.com. I know a lot of people have questions. They want to know more. So I do 20-minute consultations that you can book on that website as well. And I have all my socials linked there, as well as my YouTube channel, so you can see who I am.
I love that so much. All right, so tell me a little bit about if I feel, you know what, I want to go on an ancestral healing journey and I feel that my heart is pulling me towards Shea. What could I expect in a healing session with you, with the ancestors? And I know everyone's going to be unique, but what can you tell me about what I could expect?
Deep listening. I want to hear what is top of mind for you because sometimes you're like, I have this goal. Well, guess what? The universe wants you to deal with this first. And so it's that deep listening, the recognition of limiting beliefs all come from before us. I mean, we didn't wake up at 5 and be like, financial abundance isn't a good thing. So it's all coming from our ancestral line, as well as, repeating patterns. For me, it was feelings that weren't all mine, particularly sadness that had come through. And so I do call in the ancestral healers every time. I call in the ancient ones who are new to me and they actually precede the ancestral healers, and they were there before the false light matrix was created. So they have some profound knowledge that can help us move forward because they know what was before. Um, and every session's different. I use light language because it gets my persona out of the way. And just, I've seen profound healing in a short time. I've seen profound healing that took longer. And the journey is the person I'm working with. I'm just there to assist. So, it's guided by them, but the ancestors, they are pumped that they are being called on now because they are going to be a pivotal piece in the ascension of humanity. So the fact that we're starting to call on them because we are sovereign beings, we can't, and they aren't going to interfere unless we ask them. So you've got a whole cadre of people out there waiting to help you. Just ask them.
Yeah,
They'd
oh,
love
I
to
love
help.
that so much. I love it. So let me ask you, because when you say it's guided by them, by the client, I hope the client like doesn't isn't like, oh gosh, I have to know what to do because they can come to you saying,
Oh,
I have no idea, right? It's guided by whatever they feel called to share.
yes. when they're sharing, and when I say guided by them, their guidance shares with me what needs to be worked on.
Oh,
And it isn't always what they want to work on.
oh
I've had
yeah.
clients come and say, I want to work on financial abundance. And then when you get into the session, there's so many other things that need to get out of the way first. And afterwards, they're like, I never would have asked that, but that's what I needed.
Oh,
So when I say it's guided by them, it's guided by us in oneness for the highest good of all.
I
So,
love that so much. That reminds me of much earlier in my journey, going to a reader. And I was there because it was much earlier in my business. How do I make my business even more successful? Like, what is the next step? And she said, "Oh, you're not going to like this." But the next step is to organize your house and to figure out how to be the mother that you actually desire to be. And I said, I don't like this. That can't. And I remember I left that call feeling very triggered and upset. But anyway, I sat with it. This was long before I did Quantum Lightwork Academy or the Called Mastermind with you. This was much earlier than that, but I sat with it for a few days and I just didn't like it. But I realized after a few days of allowing myself to sit with it, it was true. It was true. And,
mhm.
thank goodness that I went on that call with that reader because I couldn't understand that consciously on my own. That the thing that would get me to my goal faster was actually addressing the thing I thought I didn't have time for until I got to my goal. And that's often how our journey is. And that's why it can be so helpful to have a guide that can see for us what we can't see. So the service that you're offering is so incredibly valuable to help someone see what they can't see that's actually their next step. And so I'm so excited about the work that you are doing in the world. All the links for working with Shea, for following her on social media, on her YouTube, her Instagram. I think that you have a Facebook as well. Is that right, Shea?
Facebook and threads.
And threads. Okay. So the links for her social media will be in the description below, as well as the link for her website, redhawklighthealing.com. And you can book a one-on-one session with her, or she also offers a free 20-minute consultation. Shea, is there anything
Yes.
else you would like to share before we say goodbye?
Just how much I love you and how grateful I am that you have been part of my journey. I wouldn't be where I am right now if it weren't for you. I did the work, but you provided the platform on which to do it, and I'm forever grateful.
Yeah, thank you so much, Shea. I'm so grateful that you said yes to walking with me when you felt the call to do so. And I'm grateful for everyone who helped me on my path. As I assisted you, Shea, I had to expand into my next level. And so it's this beautiful give and take when we hold space for a client that way. Like it's just such a blessing. I love you so much. I'm so proud of you and I'm so excited that you are all in on your soul mission. I am so, so excited to continue to celebrate you and to celebrate all of the beautiful clients that you help. Thank you all for spending this time with Shea and I. We love you so much, and we will see you soon. Goodbye.